now, so welcome. I'm just gonna start testing my my systems, but yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And allow the rest of people. Cool. So welcome everyone. Without any further ado, this is the London Health Accelerator for Social Enterprise. This is specifically student webinar session. So if you are a potential student, you're in the right place. If you're interested in this particular program, and for those who just joined, I'm Marta Żukowska and I facilitate a lot of SSE programs. And the London Health Accelerator, this is kind of phase 2. We've just run one early this year, and a cohort of 20 people graduated this April. So this is how today is going to run. I have around 20-ish minutes of the presentation to give you the SSE spiel. If you haven't heard it already, then you can find out more about this program and what we do at SSE. For those who heard this before, apologies. But essentially, around 11:30, we'll have Dan, who will join us from previous cohort to kind of talk about his experience of this program himself. And I think around 11:45, I will open up for more questions and answers. But feel free to ask questions in the chat. And when I get to it, I will try to respond. But you're very welcome to unmute after 11:40 and ask questions as we go. Okay. So welcome. For those who just joined, do pop your name, business name, and where you're based. That would be great. So this is what we have planned for today. There will be a short intro to School for Social Entrepreneurs, who we are and what we do. Much more about the program. I will talk about what we are looking for from you in terms of this program and I guess eligibility. As I said, around 11:30, Dan will join us to talk about his experience. We'll talk about kind of timelines, deadlines, and then there'll be time for questions. So I think, while this is originally planned for finishing around 12:30, I think around 12 will probably be done, but everyone else that wants to stay and ask more questions is welcome. Stick around. Okay. So welcome everyone. So in terms of learning with SSE, I do see some familiar names. So some of you will be familiar with this. And for those of you who are not, we actually, confusingly, we won't teach you. School for Social Entrepreneurs is definitely not about essays, exams, and textbooks. And instead, students will hear from people who've been there and done it. So very much, there's practically no homework in the sense that your homework is your business. So one prerequisite of being on most of the SSE programs, including this one, is to have a business or idea that you're working on. And I guess SSE sessions help you progress and apply the knowledge you learn into your business. So hopefully you won't be bored. That's the idea. We do learning differently. We know that many leaders of businesses, and that's not specifically third sector, but just generally leaders, feel very isolated. And our programs give you an opportunity to feel less isolated because we do group learning. This specific program will be a group of 21 people. And I guess part of the learning is also acknowledging your role as a change maker. You're joining a community, that group of like-minded people. And in terms of the actual program and what to expect, on OSCE programs, kind of be prepared to be challenged on ideas and approaches. I think one of the main things, I know Nat mentioned action learning, which actually isn't part of this specific program, sadly. You will identify gaps in your approaches and be able to take that specific action. Will still aid reflecting on the unknowns and developing new knowledge and skills. So I guess the main thing, the way I like to refer to the last point on growing in your own way, is that we don't tell you how to do things. We don't tell you how you should run your business. We kind of show you the way, and it's up to you to figure out what happens next. Just have a look at your I'll have to get the slides. Yeah, we'll send the slides with the recording. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, please pop your name and business name. So this program is possible because the partnership of School for Social Entrepreneurs, MedCity and London and Partners, with funding from the Greater London Authority. So you can see all the logos on the screen. This is why this is a London specific program. However, I will get to the point. Don't leave if you're not based in London, because there's obviously caveats to everything and a nuance. So London specific program run in central London. However, we'll talk about everything else. So if you're not based in London, don't leave. Okay. So on the screen, you can see the aims of the program. I guess like with any SSE course, you will work with a group of fellow enterprise leaders working in the London region. The aim is also to give successful students, applicants, access to people from the NHS, local authority through expert sessions and networking events. And also to have the chance to anticipate, prepare, respond, and adapt. Mainly, we want to help you launch the new products and services, but also to enter any new markets that perhaps you haven't explored. Maybe you're thinking of working with NHS, and remind me at the end to share the link. There is actually a day, which is tomorrow. There's a whole day of learning that is free to attend. And I don't know if there are still places, but I'll give you the link to see there's places still available, and that's with St. Bart's Trust. But I guess program itself will give you that opportunity to learn from people who work with NHS. Last year, and I think this year as well, we have someone from St. Bart's Trust to kind of explain all the ins and outs of what that entails of and how the NHS works. Okay. So the way we support our entrepreneurs is that at the end of this program, there is from 10 to 12 grants. And in terms of the program itself, we're looking for 21 people who kind of fit certain criteria. But at the end of the program, you'll be able to pitch for £5,000 grant. So you have to, at a minimum, attend at least 80% of the program. Grants are awarded by MedCity and London and Partners. You have to complete your innovation plan. You have to have launched a new product or service by the end of that program, and recruit or safeguard the job. And the bit that you can't quite see is the pitching competition on the final day. So this is the kind of support that we offer. So the grant is not available for everyone that comes on the program, but learning itself is free, it's fully funded, so you still have access to these amazing people and opportunities. So around half of the people will get the grant. So how do we support the students, you might wonder? We'll perform diagnostic review. So if you think of putting the application, this is what happens post the application. We're doing diagnostic review of your business. On the 4th of November, there will be a kickoff session, which is purely online. And then there will be 6 sessions spread over 10 weeks. And we have the dates, which I will show you later. But I guess the content of the program is really about analyzing your strategy, working in this specific social sciences sector, helping you gain financial resilience, develop your leadership skills. Part of the program is also looking at procurement and tendering. And one of the sessions is about you gathering your social impact, sales. Of course, we prepare you for that pitching event. So there is pitching and communicating your value. And you should be able to have an innovation plan. Okay, Jill, I'm just looking at your question. Hi, this is the recruitment of jobs, a harder criteria for the grant. It's not hard criteria, but we would like you to, arrive somewhere or progress somewhere towards it, right? So that doesn't mean that if you haven't employed someone in the 10 weeks, which is awfully short time, we recognize that. That doesn't mean you wouldn't get a grant. So no, I guess is the answer. I hope that answers your question. Okay. So that's the program. So there's 6.5 for the kickoff session, plus when I refer to business support panel, it's sort of what it says in the name. Business support panel is not your usual kind of, it's nothing to do with Dragon's Den or anything like this. It's actually a group of really supportive specialists and business consultants who come to the panel, where there's 1 hour for every participant. So there's 4 different days, but 1 hour per participant, where they can come and present the issue. And the group of business consultants helps you resolve it, kind of gives you ideas towards it, towards resolving your issue, or help you realize what your actual issue actually is. So that's another part of the program. And then in terms of wrapping up what the program actually is and entails of, it's got a mentoring. So you have a mentor assigned, and you have 4 hours to spend with your mentor. And the mentors are actually either academics or people from relevant councils that we're working in, the 7 councils, the local authorities that I will list in a minute, or other really useful business consultants. So that's who you'll be matched with. Session 2, which is the 20th of November, we'll have a networking event and meet your mentor. And then celebration meal, which is more of a graduation, is on 5th of February. So that's what the program entails of, the actual dates. So we'll obviously send the slides, but if you're applying, it will be good if you can pencil these dates, as prerequisite to getting a grant is actually 80% attendance on the program. So 4th of November is the only session that we have online. From the rest, 6 sessions will be happening across central London. Some of it is in Union Street, so London and Partners office, and some sessions will be in the South Bank, but the 6 sessions ideally you would attend all where you can. And then the panels online, you just choose one day and you'll get 1 hour from the listed dates, right? So day 1 to day 6 are face-to-face. Everything else is online. You see what questions you're asking. Any questions at this point? Times of the sessions. So 4th of November is only a couple of hours of introduction. And then all the sessions are all day from 10 to 4 o'clock. So I'm referring to day 1 to day 6. BSP panels, so business support panels, it will be 1 hour of choosing between 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock. But majority of sessions, day 1 to 6, it's 10 to 4. So that's when you have to be available and physically present on the course if you're successful in getting the place. Maureen, no, there is no online sessions. It's just one of the learnings from the previous course. We've had some online sessions and we decided to go with face-to-face sessions. That's where you learn the best. That's where you kind of get to know the group the best. So ideally, face-to-face sessions, these are the dates, day 1 to day 6, you are physically present. Hildreth, yes, I will pop my email if you like, or just stay at the end when we all log out, and I'm happy to kind of speak and chat with you. So this is my email if you have any further questions, but you are here now, so ask the questions as we go.
Yeah, I've got a quick question, Anatol Nonya Hansen. Thank you for this. I've got a quick question about the venue for days 1 to 6. Are they all going to be on Union Street?
Majority, except 13th and 20th. Right. So actually half. 13th and 20th, and the 5th are on South Bank location. 27th, the 12th, and 23rd are on Union Street in Southeast London.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
No worries. I hope that helps. But yeah, day 1 to 6 are all physically present required sessions. So what we're looking for in terms of people and organizations, I suppose would be interesting to see if any of you already feel like you're ticking this criteria. Are you perhaps running and developing an organization that's already working in community health initiatives? I guess some of you I know already are. Mental health support services, disability support services, maybe health tech innovations. That's also eligible for this program. Could be nutrition and fitness, elderly care services, public health, education initiatives, social enterprise in biotechnology. We had a few of those. And ethnic and racial health, equity ventures. I'm going to try to share with you actually in the chat this document to kind of give you an idea. Is SSC, I'm looking at Hildreth question, is SSC looking for people with health expertise or passion? Definitely, if that's the question, yes. If you've just started, potentially, yes, you can qualify. So there's no hard criteria of whether, you know, you've been running for 6 months or 1 year or 3 years. So it's really depends. So we kind of meet you where you are. It's a mixed group anyway. I'm going to share a celebration brochure, and please don't look through it just yet. But this is something for you to download. To give you an idea of what sort of people were successful getting the place last year, technically this year in phase 1. So we already ran this program. Any other questions in terms of this piece, like do you feel you're fitting any of the above? I suppose is the question for you. Charmaine, we cover several areas. You don't have to necessarily focus on one, but it will be good if you have a idea or project or area, new market or new service that you want to develop. So I guess, yeah, I'm backtracking of what I just said. Yes, it would be great if you can focus on one particular aspect of your work, something that you want to develop and work on developing through this program. Yes, I believe nutrition. Great. So, you know, in essence, you might be already eligible for this. So go ahead and start the application. Any other questions in terms of this and eligibility? I'm going to slowly move on, but keep putting the questions. So I mentioned in the beginning, if you're not specifically in London just yet, maybe you're already working in or wanting to develop. So important nuance here. Maybe you want to develop in the boroughs of Hackney. So we have 7 boroughs, 7 local authorities that we're working with. Ideally, this is Hackney, Camden, Hammersmith and Fulham, Islington, Lambeth, Southwark, and Tower Hamlets. So if you're not strictly based or working in these areas, you're still eligible if you want to develop work in these areas. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm looking at your question, Davina. And I'll talk to you about this in a second, because yes, often there is programs with SSE where you're not necessarily eligible if you're not strictly a social enterprise. So before I speak about what's on the screen, this is what happened last year. This is the caveat. So we had few, I think around 6 organizations that were not strictly social enterprise when you look at kind of company's house. Some were limited by shares. And the only caveat to this is that you can still attend the program. However, if you're not a KIC, you won't be eligible for getting the grant. So what happened is that we allowed people who were not strictly social enterprises, they still benefited from the program. They still pitched, they still learned the pitch, they still pitched, and we kind of scored everyone blind. However, without knowing whether they're social enterprise or not. However, while you're still not a social enterprise, you're not eligible for getting the grant. Okay, I will resend the document, Hildreth. Sure. The document was only the celebration brochure, just to kind of give you idea of what type of organizations were on the previous program. So even if you're not strictly social enterprise, you're eligible to apply, but you won't be able to get a grant if by the end of the program you're still only, say, limited by shares and not a social enterprise, and you don't have an asset lock. Any questions about kind of eligibility, legal structures? Now is the time before we get done, when he joins to speak about his experience. Feel free to unmute if you want to ask a question. Jill, if you just started, potentially recently incorporated, yes. Gosh, I don't know what's happened here.
Hey Marta,
oh.
how are you?
Good.
It's Davina.
Hi, Davina.
So with that in mind, is there a possibility of oh, it has to be in the company? Okay, I understand. It's okay. I was going to ask a question. So if I was in the process or wanted to set up a CIC while I was on the program, would that be possible? But it defeats the point somewhat.
Do you need to be trading? Okay, sorry, Davina. So Davina, ask the question again.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so because I'm pivoting from one enterprise, and then I was advised to do this limited by shares incorporation. So I was saying to the advisor, can't I be a CIC?
Yeah.
So if I was working towards becoming a CIC, would that make me eligible, or it's the business that I'm running at the moment or the enterprise that I'm running at the moment that I need to apply in the name of, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So you need to apply in the name of what you already have. We had an instance, something similar to the situation you're explaining. We had someone who was already working towards transitioning towards KIC, and he managed to do that before graduation, which kind of made him automatically eligible for the grant. So that could be the process that you go for.
Okay. So, okay. All right. Beautiful. Thank you.
Cool. No worries. Marie, sole trader. I believe that's not eligible at the moment, but if you, I have your email, so I will email you back, Marie, because yeah, sole trader is not strictly eligible. You have to have some sort of organization to apply. Do you need to be trading? Not strictly at the moment, but maybe maybe you're looking to start trading and selling something. Esther, will you be eligible if you're CIO? Yes. So you can be a CIO, you can be a charity, you can be a KIC. You can be limited by shares or guarantee. That's all eligible. It's just at the point if you're pitching for the grant, if you don't have strictly asset lock and social enterprise set up, then you're just not eligible for getting a grant. Hope that makes sense. Again, to remind everyone, we're looking for you to launch a new product or service, so new to your organization. Maybe you're looking to enter the new markets, and they could be in one of the 7 boroughs that we mentioned earlier. Maybe you're looking to safeguard existing jobs and roles within your organization, or perhaps you're looking to grow your team and employ new team members. Does that perhaps sound like you at this point? Any questions? Let me just check.
I have a question, please, regarding to the criteria eligibility. Do we have to be looking for all of these, or it could be one of them, like launching a new product or enter a new market? We don't have to have
you don't have to have all, no.
Okay.
So make sure you kind of make that clear in the application.
Okay.
But yeah, one of those, sometimes that kind of overlaps one to the other, because you might be launching a new product and entering a new market.
Yeah.
But you don't strictly have to tick all those boxes, no.
Okay, good.
Any other questions?
Hello there, I'm Val.
Hi, Val.
Hi. About a couple of years ago, I was looking for help and suggestions regarding setting up a cooperative. Although I was able to go to a local organization, they didn't really help me, so I was kind of left in limbo. And I'm a sole trader, and I also have a company house company. So it was basically just getting more information regarding that and just looking for help whether or not I do transition, like basically what are my best options. So I'm wondering if maybe your organization can help me, because I'm in stress management and healing and things like that.
Okay, so we don't strictly kind of support people in terms of setting up, but we can connect you with someone who does that. What's the other organization? So you have something set up on Companies House other than Sole Trader. Is that what you're saying, Val?
Yes, I'm already set up on Companies House. So I mean, this is where I was looking for advice. So maybe under that company, I can transition. I don't know.
Potentially, although
Yeah,
you can't strictly convert unlimited by shares into social enterprise. That's kind of, I'm not going to get into those details, but stick
yeah,
around. I can point you in the right direction. There is lots of like British Library courses that help you like set up which are free. They help you set up online. I think there is a HMRC workshop coming on British Library on 26th of September. So just look that up.
yeah.
I guess that's for everyone who wants more help in that regard. But if you want me to kind of explain a bit more, stick around after the
Okay, because
this
there's quite a
session.
few things you've mentioned that I could probably align myself with, like, looking to launch a new product and such. So this particular webinar really caught my interest just to get some further answers or guidance.
Great. Okay. Stick around, Val. Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off.
No,
I'm
that's
just
fine.
aware. Stick around after 12 so we can chat a bit more. So I'm
All
going to
right.
mute
Thank
you
you
for
very much.
now. Not
Lovely.
at all.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to welcome Dan, because now is the time to kind of hear from a former student. I know I skipped a few slides and I'll come back to it after Dan leaves us. I've sent you the brochure. These are the kind of things that were the reflections and reviews from the program on the screen, but I'd just like to give Dan from Ayati Minds a few minutes to kind of talk about his experience. If you can, I know you just joined us.
Hi, Marta. Thanks
Hi, thanks for joining us.
around. And apologies for joining a bit late as well.
Not at all. Nice to see you.
Good to see you all. So how would you like me to do this? Tell you about Ayati Mind? Will you have it on the screen?
We have it on the screen, but kind of tell us what happened since,
Sure.
your experience on the program, what you expected, maybe what you didn't expect, but you got, just kind of genuine, so people are not just hearing from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. So my name is Daniel Achampong, and I am the founder of Ayati Mind, which is a mental health tech social enterprise. And I founded Ayati Mind in 2022 after I experienced some mental health challenges myself. And I did some research and found through my focus group studies that particularly Black and ethnic minority men have challenges accessing mental health support. And there are stigmas that we all know exist in society around men, particularly, regardless of your background, accessing mental health support and speaking up and seeking help. So I discovered that there was a need for a platform or a service to fill that gap. And so Ayati Mind essentially is there to connect users who wants to find culturally competent therapists and life coaches. And when I applied for this program, the Accelerator, I wasn't sure if we had a clear proof of concept, and I needed to validate the idea a bit further. We've done some market research with about 1,300 people, so we had some inclination, and we had some strong sort of direction of where to go next. And in terms of my background, I'm a business program delivery business partner with the Department for Health and Social Care. So I'm in a corporate field, but I don't have marketing experience. I don't have strong sales experience, etc. And so I really wanted to gain some skills and some sort of tips and strategies on how to effectively set up my marketing team, effectively set up my sales, and also to test my idea with some experts in the field. And that's exactly what I got with the program. I really enjoyed the program. I think if you're able to get through to it, one of the best things I found was the networking. So the other founders on the program had fountains of knowledge as well to bring on board, and we made some really good connections amongst us in the group, who were then able to give us some direction and learn lessons from each other, etc. But also Marta was incredibly fantastic in supporting all of us in the cohort. You feel really seen and you feel really heard as well. And so you get the idea that all the experts and the professionals who are brought on board and the business support advisors understand you, they understand your business struggles and the challenges, and they cater the program to ensure that you're getting the best out of it. And that's exactly what I got. When I got to the pitching stage, we had pitching workshops, we had an expert come in to talk about how to do the best pitch you can do. And Marta was also very helpful in helping me get my pitch done. So that was incredible. And I think it's one of the best programs I've ever been on. And the support is just second to none. So I don't know if you have any questions specifically, I can talk for quite hours, but if anyone has any key questions around sort of challenges or what I found the most exciting. Sorry, Martha, you did ask, where am I now? So since the program, I was one of the founders who managed to get the £5,000 funding, which was definitely needed because we were struggling with raising funds at that time. And so the £5,000 helped us to build our MVP, and we're in the process of launching our MVP by the end of this year, which is really exciting. And without that fund injection into the business, it would have been a bit of a struggle, to be honest. Since then as well, I've been able to get access to the business support advisors from SSE, and they have been incredibly helpful in for me to test some of my ideas with them and sound check some of the decisions that I'm making. And it's just, yeah, it's been incredible. If you're having second guesses about this, I'll say just jump straight in. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Dan. I don't know if it's just my memory, but I feel like that business support was quite crucial. I feel like you've done quite few events since, right? It was like something unblocked in you at one of those events.
Yes. So when you say events, which one do you mean?
I did mean business support panel. I know you already spoke about it, but
Yes.
then you went along and done at least of 2 events that I know of you. There might have been more.
Yes, that's right. So the business support panel, essentially how it's set up is I had 4 experts from
4 or
different
5,
fields,
yeah.
4 or 5. Mark, who was a financial expert, and a few others, one from the Digital Health London program. She was a director there, and then an ex charity director. And so they were able to sort of listen to my key challenges within the business, and give me advice around safeguarding, around setup, legal structure, and around how to effectively raise funds and be financially sustainable. So they don't just come at it with one kind of direction of support. It's kind of holistic. So I found that really, really helpful. And since then, I've had the opportunity to meet with some of the business support advisors as well, which has been fantastic. What Ayati Mind does, we're not just a digital product. We run a series of events to raise awareness about mental health. So we've been organizing a number of events with the target audience, and we have one coming up this Saturday, which has been incredible. And some of the funding has helped me to sort of successfully put up these events to raise awareness about mental health for men, and also to point them and create that kind of safe space where men can open up about the mental health challenges and seek support.
Super cool. If you want to share the link, if that's a thing, then feel free to share it. Hey, Dan. We have a question from Charmaine in the chat. Did you find the help was practical or more theoretical? I feel like you already answered that, but.
So I would say it was practical and theoretical as well. So actually the workshops that we had a series of workshops with different experts and professionals coming in to talk about how do you develop your value proposition, for example, and we had team breakout sessions where we had opportunity to develop our value proposition, develop our theory of change, understand sort of how do you measure impact of your organization, the goals you're setting. So we had some practical, initially some theoretical lessons to set the ground and lay the ground for that. And then we had the opportunity to put it into practice with our business and then refine it later on. So yeah, it's both, I would say.
Thank you, Dan. That's really useful. I like to hear about your experience too, because when we're in the midst of it, it's so busy. Thank you for joining. Any last questions for Dan at this stage? A kind of, practicalities. What methods did you use to gather your market research, Davina asks.
Yeah, so the market research, I did it in the very early stages of when I set the organization up. I used a survey and I actually used Google Forms to create the survey, and I distributed the link around to my initial contact and encouraged them to share that around to others. I also sent it to my work colleagues and a few other networks that I was aware of. And initially I was a bit skeptical that, it would be quite challenging for even my target was 200 people. But then within the first 2 hours, I had 200 people completing the form. And then by the end of the campaign, it was 1,300 in total. So yeah, I think initially you might be hesitant to do a research, a market research like that, but I think just go for it. It didn't take much. It didn't cost me a lot either. But it takes a bit of sort of work to understand what kind of questions you're trying to ask. What is the goal of the market research and who are your target audience? So, I mean, also feel free to message me on LinkedIn if anyone wants any further support or have any further questions.
Yeah. Do you need to run because we have 2 more questions?
No, absolutely here for you.
Thank you. So, few questions. So this is one from Kathleen. Which innovative technology did you use? That's the first one.
Okay,
Thanks.
so yeah, I'll take the second one as well. And then what's the second?
Questions.
So innovative technology. So currently for the MVP, I wouldn't say it's innovative. So we're trying to, it's a web app at the moment because of the costs of developing an app would be north of £50,000. And so through the discussions with my developers, I decided to do a web app, which it still can function as an app. You have to go through a website, and it's still got the similar functionalities, but it's much more cheap. It's cheaper to actually run. And we're thinking of integrating artificial intelligence into it in the future version of the app, and also using machine learning. But at the moment, I wouldn't say there's any sort of the innovative approach is the fact that there isn't any tool out there at the moment connecting men with culturally competent therapists. But the future innovation that we're going to integrate will be based on machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Thank you. Someone else asked, Esther, does this mean you started this business from scratch?
Yes, I definitely did. I started the business from scratch. It took me quite a while to learn to be an entrepreneur. I'm still doing my full-time job, and so juggling a full-time job and juggling a startup whilst also studying part-time has been quite challenging. But I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is not being afraid to jump in and taking risks. and keeping going. There have been times where you feel "Ugh, it's a bit too much, I'm not getting anywhere," and you just want to, throw the towel in. But actually, when you keep going, and it's taken 2 years now, but when you keep going, you will find people along the way who support you, who direct you, and you learn a lot of things as well. And actually, you learn from the mistakes that you make, and you just pivot from that. That's been really a godsend, I think, to me. I'm very risk averse individual, but I'm learning to take more risks and jumping in. So I think that's the biggest advice I'd give to you all, is take the risk.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. I think one of the last questions, because you answered the rest. Are you in mental health area? Are you a psychotherapist?
No, I am not a therapist or a psychotherapist. I have a team of advisory board members who 80% of those are therapists and psychotherapists. But we don't claim, IATI Mind does not claim to be a platform offering therapy services, as in we're not doing it ourselves. We're a marketplace connecting people who want to access therapy. So it's both for the therapists and psychotherapists to engage with users who are looking for that service or support.
Thank you, Dan. And so Hildred said, "Oh, clever." Okay, one last question from Davina, I think super important. What does IATI mean?
It's a very good question. So you can see that in our logo at the bottom there on the screen. I'm from West Africa in Ghana, and we have a series of about 50 different symbols that we call Adinkra symbols. And that's one of the Adinkra symbols, and it's called an Aya, AYA, and it refers to a fern plant. Each of those symbols have a meaning, and the fern plant, or that symbol, relates to being resourceful, withstanding toxicity, and thriving through difficult and challenging times. So essentially, I picked that logo because as a brand, we want to be able to be headstrong and encourage people to be headstrong and thrive through tough times and through any adversity that they face.
Oh, so beautiful. We learn something every day. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for today, Dan. This was recorded, so I can send you the link if you want to watch yourself back.
Best of luck. I'll drop in my
Thank
LinkedIn
you.
link as well before I leave.
Yes, please. Yeah, before you go. Fab. Well, thank you for your questions. I think that was I hope was useful for you as well, to hear from someone who's been there and done this on similar program. Here is a little bit more reflections and reviews from other participants on the program. And in the last few minutes, I'm kind of going to come back through all the slides I skipped. So the 2 slides we're still looking, I think 1 slide, you need to be registered with a clear social purpose. So to be eligible, we're looking for organizations that are charity, CBS, KIC, Co-op, maybe already company limited guarantee. So you have to be registered as an organization. So sole trader is not enough, but company limited by shares with relevant clauses, that's also okay. We say, so the number 2 is not actually a hard eligibility criteria. It might be that you already have the funding and your turnover will be 50,000 in this year. So then don't let this put you off. If you haven't reached 50,000, speak to us or stay after we kind of close the Zoom room to kind of ask me more questions. And I think the 3rd one is probably one of the more important ones as well. Have clear social impact and impact in the health sector. That could include community health, mental health, or life sciences sector. So where we had organizations that were more strictly limited by shares without relevant social clauses, we still allowed them. As I said, we had someone who already, a bit like Davina, was looking in converting into KIC. So these are things you can discuss with us, but if you don't take one or the other, that doesn't mean you're not eligible. And I know you probably like to have a bit more clear answers, but it's just never this simple. This is why if you receive, you still qualify if you have a product or service that you want to develop and you know it's kind of almost ready to sell. So I'm going to pop my email for everyone who is still here that has kind of more specific questions that they don't want to raise here, perhaps. We had people who haven't had much turnover on the previous program, so don't let this to put you off. They're not hardest criteria. Again, you should be registered and not a sole trader. Oh, I lost a lot of people in the process. I don't know why. So I'd like to open for questions and answers. So you had from former students, you have this booklet. So you had from Dan. The recruitment process itself, 7th of October is the deadline. So in the next, where are we? Month, you have another, not a full month. Potential interview calls, if we have more questions, around 21st to 25th of October. But really, we should notify you by 23rd of October, and the program actually officially begins on the 4th of November. So here's the link, which I'm going to, you probably already have it. I think you've seen this. This is our timeline. This is where we're at. We are the second webinar. The first one was run for the partners. So these are the kind of outputs and outcomes we're looking for. This is what we already achieved in terms of jobs safeguarded. We're looking for female leaders, still leaders of colors, disabled leaders, leaders with deprived words. Absolutely apply if any of this qualifies your business. I don't know what's happened. Any questions? So I'd like to open for questions and answers, but I completely lost my, there you go, screen. So this is the kind of official end. I know you've asked some questions. Let me just pop this on the screen. No problem, Anatole. Yeah, so now is the time to ask any other questions or stick around if you just want to have a conversation.
Marta, it's just my concern is about the fact that I don't have any company house number, really. I'm just having that self-employed kind of profile. So that's why I just register as a sole trader. Because I'm kind of stuck, because I'm wondering still I give it to go or not, because if it's not a hard criteria, then I will be happy to apply, but I just kind of stuck. I don't know what to do, really.
Yeah, so yeah, for this specific program, you have to have something registered, even if it's not a social enterprise, and it has to be organization. So there might be other programs you might be eligible for.
Okay.
Because
I have a UTR number. I'm actually registered with the HMRC, but this doesn't work. It won't work.
It's not enough because a sole trader is not officially an, you know, organization on Companies House. So yeah, sadly, that probably is not the program for you at this stage.
Okay.
Sorry, Marie. There might be other ones, so keep the eyes open. Jill.
Yeah, hi. No, I just wanted to check because I looked at the guidance and it said that you can only apply if you're not part of an existing SSE program, or you're not going to be part of an SSE program when this program begins. I'm just mindful that I applied for one of the other programs, so I don't know if you know when they will announce the people who are moving forward with the startup program, because that's the one that I applied for. So just deciding whether I should apply for this one or I should wait for them to let us know first if I've made it in the other one before I apply for this one.
Such a good question. Which program is it exactly? We have quite a few.
Program.
Startup. Is there any like other longer name to it, or?
Sorry, say that again.
Is there other like fuller name to the startup? Because
yeah, I think it's the Shifting London Startup Program.
Shifting London.
I'll look it up.
I will ask. Let me check with Monique. Announcements for Shifting London. Maybe someone knows. I would say, because the deadline is on the 7th, I would imagine. Jill, can I come back to you on this? Because I don't want you to waste your time on putting this application if you want here before.
No worries.
Shifting London.
I just found the name now on the website. It's called Trading for Good, Social Enterprise Startup.
Trading for Good. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll check. I have your email because you're subscribed to this webinar. So I'll come back to you, Jill, because it's a very good question that I'm not gonna make up answer to. Okay. I feel like I have a few more questions. I think Esther was first.
Hi, thank you, Marta. I just wanted to know, I'm in the process of registering, so I haven't registered yet. And the deadline is the 7th of October. Does that mean I need to be registered before I can do the application?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
What's your idea? Talk to me a bit more about where you at with your business in general.
So mine is health and well-being. I'm a naturopathic nutritionist and health coach and chef. So my focus is mainly on the BAME community. I'm currently a health ambassador for SADC, so I'm using that to help members of the community. My main focus is obesity, as the rate of obesity is going higher and higher. So this is to help members of my community take control of their health and well-being, especially when it comes to weight management, and to help because when it comes to the food for the BAME community, especially Africans, there's not much data on it, on how to help people use their diet and lifestyle to take control of their health and well-being and manage their weight.
Absolutely. Ideally, you would be registered or at least in the process of registering.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you like send the paperwork and you're waiting for response, that might be okay. But yeah, also on the brochure I sent, check out Noreen Gloves. She's running something similar in Barnet. She was on the previous program that we just ran. So yeah, thank you for your question. Charmaine.
Hello, thanks a lot. It's kind of following on actually, because that is what I'm doing at the moment, but I'm out of the area. And I've been asked over the years to come into London to do 7 workshops, but I think I would like to do it onto a different company structure rather than under the current CIC that I run. Is that still possible? So I'm not I don't think it will be eventually under the CIC banner. So does that matter that it's going to be a totally new company eventually?
Well, we can't dictate what you will do in the future. If you're currently a KIC, then you're eligible. If you're currently working in any of those 7 boroughs in London, then you're eligible. So, what happens in 2 or 3 years is not really up to us. I guess what matters is that You're eligible at point of application. You're eligible for grants if you get on the program. So I don't think that sounds like an issue for you, Charmaine.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No worries. So it's 12:05, and I realize some of people already dropped off. Any other questions that you might have at this stage? Anything you wanted to ask but didn't ask yet? And if I missed any questions, ask them again. So, okay. So people start dropping off. Any other final questions for me while I'm here? Can I speak to me after? Yes, sure. If you want to stick around, I will stop recording. Yes, not a problem. Go on.
This is Jill. So yeah, I think what I'll just do is I have a specific person that has been really good in terms of responding to my questions with regards to the Trading for Good program. So if you don't mind, I'll just reach out to her. Like, there's no need for you to kind of check with them. I don't want to influence their evaluation process. I'll just let them do their own thing, but I just want to know the deadline. I mean,
sure. Yeah, precisely. Just ask this person where you're likely to hear, because, you know, if it's on the 7th, that's slightly pushing it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thanks for being here, Jill. Okay, any last questions before we kind of wrap up? In which case, if not, thank you for listening. Oh, great, Charmaine, not at all. Ask me any question.
Martha, just a quick one. So would you send us the application form?
So I think Monique will send everyone. So it's on the website, I believe.
Okay.
Let's have a look. I will stop sharing, and while you're still here, I believe it's on the website. So when you type in London Health Accelerator SSE, I believe, because we've been getting applications already, I believe it's all there. London Health Accelerator. It's online, of course. So, you know, and if you can submit before the 7th, although I know we are only human, and the deadline, and a lot of applications arrive on the deadline, please try to maybe do it a couple of days earlier, in case you have any questions or technical issues. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the website. So London Health Accelerator, I believe, apply now. The apply button is there. So I'm just going to share this link with everyone. Who is still here? Not at all. Thank you for listening. And if you have no more questions, feel free to log out. I will stop recording, and then whoever wants to ask any questions privately, stay on the Zoom. Thank you all. Let me stop recording.